Maureen, thanks again for being here. I
Thank
think we
you.
have a map of where you are because it's such a tiny little place. So
Yes.
tell me, where are you from and where are you now?
So originally I am from Massachusetts, which is right next door to Rhode Island. In fact, when I travel, I usually tend to tell people, oh, I'm from Boston because Rhode Island is so small that most people can't find it or don't know of its existence.
I know it's really tiny. I had to look for it, but tiny by mighty.
Yeah.
So tell me, what do you do?
So I was an English language fellow, and I was living in Mexico for a couple of years. I've been a teacher for most of my life. Well, most of my professional life, I've been a teacher, working in schools, kindergarten, all the way through high school and college, and a
Very,
mom,
oh, and a mom, very
and a mom.
important. Okay, so Rhode Island, how's the weather today?
Today it's beautiful. We had crazy storms last night, thunder, lightning, crazy, crazy. But it cleared off and it's nice and cool, so it's very nice. Normally in August we have the dog days of summer where it's really, really hot, but we might be beyond those.
Yes, very nice. It's pretty warm here in DC. We also had some storms last night, so it kind of cool off a little bit,
Yeah,
which is nice.
yeah.
I want to thank some of our audience and viewers that made it to our Facebook page this past weekend and wrote some questions for us. So we have Fabricio Carota. We asked them, "What do you know about the smallest state in the United States?" And they said, "Little Rhody is the
Yeah.
official name, and it used to be called the state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantation, and it was founded by Roger Williams." So this person knows a lot. Fabricio, thank you.
Yeah.
We also have Innovation Ahead saying Rhode Island, there is a good school there called Brown University. That is
Absolutely.
true. We have Han Lady saying Rhode Island is the smallest state, and it's in New England, and it's also the smallest state in the United States.
Yep.
And we have some other questions about, what is a typical family, which we're going to be talking about today. And on the next slide, we had some other questions. We have Safar Ali saying this topic is interesting and definitely will help students describe their families. And we have Amin Larbi Lamzuri saying Rhode Island is called the Ocean State.
Yes, it
And
is.
we have Pedro Fernandez with some good questions we hope to get to very soon, as well as Liman Hauda, who is saying, my students would like to ask about the population and culture. So let's start with a few of these questions. I believe everybody already saw it and said it. Rhode Island is called the Ocean State. Do you know why it's called the Ocean State?
So, if you look at the percentage of coastline compared to the size of the state, Rhode Island has the largest percentage of coastline. We have the largest percentage that's on the ocean. In fact, where I live, I can look out my window and see the ocean right from where I live. So, a lot of Rhode Island is beach and an ocean. So, it's pretty nice.
Very nice. So we have a lot of people from all over the world. I'm going to mention a few countries that we have represented today. We have Yesenia from Honduras. We have Claudia from Mexico. We have Jomar from the Philippines. Nazari from Malaysia, saying stay very safe, everyone. Sophia from Cambodia. We have Serendipity by Night. Hello from Belgium. We have Scutario from Romania. We have Taipei from Monica from Ecuador. We have Manhasi from Azerbaijan and Isabel from Sucre, Bolivia, and Brown Lubinda from Zambia. So we are so excited to have you here and share all about this topic. I'm
Yep.
going to tell you what the topic is now. Today we want to talk about a very important topic, family. You have shared with us a few things about having a large family. Families in the United States tend to be kind of small, so it is unusual, and you probably get a lot of questions about that. So can you describe your family? And we have a beautiful picture here.
Yep, absolutely. So, yes, I do have 5 children. When they were little, I would always be asked, are they all yours? And I would say yes. And I'm asked that even now at this age, are they all yours? Yes, they are all mine. My oldest is my daughter. She's the only girl and she's the oldest. She sees herself as the second mom of the family. The one in the middle is my oldest son. His name is Peter. Then there are twins, the one with the baseball hat and the second one to the left. Those two are the twins. So baseball hat and the second one to the left. And the smallest one is the youngest. He is no longer that small, but he's still the youngest. So yeah, there you have them. 4 boys and 1 girl.
Yeah, you mentioned that even though the youngest is not as young anymore, they still hold him up in every picture.
So that's just a fun family thing that we've always done. The kids have always done because he was a little, almost every picture we have with all of them together, except for that Christmas picture that you saw, they're usually holding Luke. It's just become something that they've done every single year when we do some sort of family picture. He's gotten a lot bigger. It's a lot more difficult for them to hold him now, but it's still just one of those fun family things that we do.
Very nice. And I think you said that's a farm. That's where you live, in a
Yes.
farm?
Yep, that is where we live. It is a farm. We hay most of it now. We do have chickens, so we get fresh eggs. We have a small garden where we get some vegetables and stuff, but it is a farm. It's not as much of a working farm as it was when my husband lived here as a child, but it's still, we still hay it.
Very nice. So you're busy with also doing all the things around the farm, but you have some nice fresh produce every day.
Yes, yes, we
So
do.
the next picture we have, it is your son,
Yes.
Arohan. It's one of the
Aiden.
twins. Oh, Arohan, and he's one of the twins. And you
Yes.
said that he loves standing on top of his Jeep. What is
Yes.
all about? Tell me.
So Aiden loves to go four-wheeling. A lot of people here in the United States have Jeeps, and it's one of the fun things that they do. They take it off-road, they go four-wheeling. Aiden is a bit crazy with his. He'll take it down what should just be a footpath, and he'll bring his little Jeep down there. He fixed this Jeep up. He bought it for just a few $100s, and it really wasn't working. Took it all apart, fixed it all up, and now he goes and takes it off-road all the time. It's very much a typical thing for a group of people to do, go off-roading or four-wheeling. And that's what he's doing there.
It's a hobby around
Yes.
there.
Yes.
Very nice, and it's good because he learned to fix a car, which is a great skill to have. This
Absolutely.
picture we have is a high school graduation, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about this special day.
So this was Aiden's high school graduation. Tommy and Aiden are the twins. Tommy's the one to the right with the baseball hat on. Aiden is in the graduation cap. Sisters to the left, Katie. This was actually a really big deal. He graduated from high school, getting ready to go on to college. We had family, we had friends, we had a huge party afterwards. I want to say there were probably about 100 people over the house to celebrate because the twins were graduating from high school. So it's just a really, really big deal. You can see that he's holding his diploma, and they're all excited. He made it. It's high school. He did it. He now is moving on to the real world.
Yeah, it's a big step in for American households when you graduate and kids can go on and move on to college.
Yeah.
The next picture is your daughter, Katie.
Yes.
And she has a big smile in this picture. Can you tell me what's happening there?
Yeah, so she lives out in Los Angeles, and she actually graduated from college a few years ago. She works out in LA in events, but when she comes home, she and I always go for runs together. It's just something that we've always done, even though she's a lot faster than I am now. And on our run, there are other farms near us, and one of the farms has sheep. And so we just like to stop and say hello to the sheep because they're cute, and we're just having fun. It's just kind of what we do, go out for a nice long run and say hi to the sheep, and they're really friendly. You can feed them, everybody does. So it's just one of the things that we always do when we're together. We go out for a run together.
Very nice. So if you are just joining us, we are talking to Maureen, who is currently in Rhode Island, the smallest state in the United States. And Maureen is sharing with us what it's like to have a large family. Maureen has 5 children, 4 boys and 1 girl. So the next picture is a very common picture that we have all around the world right now.
Yeah.
Everybody is learning online. So can you tell me a little bit about your son doing online learning?
Oh, yes. So this is the youngest. So he looks a little bit different than what he did in some of those other pictures because he's grown quite a bit. He grew like 4 inches in this past year. Um, he is doing online learning, COVID-19. He had been in Germany on a scholarship, but had to come back home, just like all of us did because of COVID. As you can see, he's doesn't particularly care for online learning. He'd much rather be with his friends, as any 16-year-old would rather be, I think. But he's doing his work, and that's the important part. School here will be starting, and we will be going back, at least in Rhode Island right now, we will be going back in person. So it's going to be interesting. But for the past few months, it has been online.
I know, all over the world, we're doing a lot of things online. The next picture is really fun. You say you have a cookie decorating kind of Christmas tradition. Tell me about it.
Yeah. So this is something that I started when my children were little, and they would invite some friends over, and then it grew every year. It's the cookies I make are all homemade. It's my mom's recipe that I will only pass on to my children, so it stays in the family, secret family recipe. And we bake a ton of cookies, and we have friends over. They decorate them, and in the picture to the left is of the winners. Each year we have different categories. It could be jolliest or the grinchiest, like the worst Christmas, the worst holiday one. We just, whatever kind of suits our fancy that has to do with the holidays. And then they just win something, it's just silly prizes. And
What a
it's just,
fun tradition to have.
yeah, we've done it for years.
Very nice. The next one is really cool. You say one of your sons went to the Navy, and here we have the family saying goodbye.
Yeah, so the one on the left is Peter. He is attending the U.S. Naval Academy. It is a college where you go to school for 4 years, and when you graduate, you are an officer in the Navy or the Marine Corps, and you have to stay in for another 5 years. So the picture on the left is Peter actually signing what is called his 2 for 7. And that is a really big deal. It says that you've already given 2 years in the Navy, but you owe 7 more, 2 more in college, and then 5 after that, where you're actually serving in whatever field you've chosen or you've been selected for. It's a really competitive school to get into, really great school. And Peter has thrived there. He really enjoys it. He will be graduating this year.
That's
We don't know where
exciting.
he's headed. Yeah.
Very exciting to know that he's already graduating. Excellent. The next
Yeah.
picture is your youngest son. And I think he is looking at a book. Oh, do we have the next picture? Let's see. Yep.
Yes. So that, if you could see it closely, it's a junior ranger program. When we travel, we like to camp because there are so many of us, especially when the kids were little. It was much easier to camp than to try to put them in a hotel room to stay quiet. And we would go to national parks all over the United States, wherever we were. The national parks have a junior ranger program, which I always made my kids do. Technically, there's an age cutoff, which is why Luke is not looking too happy in this, because I made him still do the junior ranger program, although he's a little older. But you get really cool pins or mugs and all this different stuff. And the junior ranger program is a great program the national parks have that a lot of people don't know about. Just a way to learn about the park that you're in a little bit more in depth, and it's geared for kids. So it's a great program that he's done everywhere.
You
So
have you have the next picture is really cool. You have a son who is a firefighter.
yes. So that is my son, Tommy. Where we live in our town, we do not have a full-time firefighting department. It's all volunteers. So Tommy has a job where he works, and then on the side, he's a volunteer firefighter. This picture is a training. It's a car fire training exercise. They actually get quite a few calls to rescue people. In fact, there was a call this morning at 5 a.m. So he's a volunteer firefighter. Small towns tend to have that in the United States. And this is how he'll spend his Sundays, practicing to make sure when the real thing happens, and they really have, that they all know what to do and they're good to go.
Very nice. So we have a few more minutes and I have 3 more pictures to go through. Let's see. We have the next one, which is the Easter egg hunt,
Yes.
which is a tradition in your family.
Yes. Yep. So we usually just do the regular eggs, but these two are the gold and silver, which have money. This past
Ooh.
spring, spring, Peter found them both. So last year, when my daughter found them both, she offered to split the money with her siblings. When Peter found them both this year, he didn't offer to split it. He just said he was keeping them all. So different personalities.
Definitely. Well, lucky boy. The
Yes.
next one is one of your sons skiing.
Yeah, so we had never gone on a family ski trip. I don't particularly like the cold. But this year we decided, all right, let's go. So we went for the first time ever, and most of my boys wanted to do snowboarding. That's what they prefer to try. This was their first time ever doing it. My daughter and I went skiing. My husband tried snowboarding as well. But we had a blast. We just went for the day. It was a lot of fun. But it was the first time we'd ever gone, but it was fun, a fun day.
And last but not least, you have a special an animal in your family, a pet. So you have
Yeah,
a dog. What's your
yeah.
dog's name?
The dog's name is Ford, like the car or the truck. Um, Technically, he belongs to Tommy, who's the firefighter, but really he belongs to the family, and he's just the family dog. Um, and yeah, he just will follow you around and just wants you to play with him all day long.
Very nice. I have a few questions from our audience that I want to get to before we leave because our time is running out, and it's been so great to see all these pictures and get to know your family. So one is Lynn Indra asking, what college will one of your sons attend?
So two of my boys are at military academies or the federal academies, which is great because for me, they're free. The boys just have to serve afterwards in one of the military branches. My youngest, we still have to decide where he is going to go to school. He's a junior in high school. So this junior year is the big year where he takes the SATs. Depending on those scores, we can figure out where he can apply. We don't know yet. My daughter chose her college based off of field hockey because she was a field hockey player. So how kids choose, it's very, very different. We have a lot of options available. So we'll see where the youngest ends up going.
Very nice. Okay, we have one more. So how is the social atmosphere in the family? Who takes the lead?
So when my daughter is home, it is definitely her amongst the children. She is definitely one that takes the lead. Luke, the youngest, is the one who kind of brings everybody together. He's always had that ability. And then the three boys, Peter and the twins, Tommy and Aiden, they have probably the most interesting relationship because they're so close in age. Peter's only 16 months older than the twins. So sometimes they love each other and sometimes they don't.
This is my last question. This is from Denise from the American Corner in Trista. And she's saying, asking, do you eat lobster? And she's also saying how lucky you are to be in Rhode Island.
Yes. So I do not eat lobster because I'm allergic to shellfish. However, growing up, we would get it for free all the time. I grew up in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and knew a lot of lobstermen, a lot of lobster fishermen, and they would drop it off to our house for free. So it was something that we would just eat, and it wasn't any big deal to us, although it is extremely expensive. I can't eat it. I'm allergic to it.
Oh, wow. Can you believe our time is up? There are so many questions that we couldn't get to, but we hope to continue to be able to answer them on our Facebook page. We want to thank you so much, Maureen, for sharing your story with us today. What a wonderful family you have. Congratulations. We also want to thank our audience for such a lively engagement, for sending us your questions. And we hope you'll continue to share ideas through our social media. Don't forget to check out our resources that we have if you want to continue to practice your English. You can go to our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and our website, americanenglish.state.gov. And thanks again for joining us, Maureen from Rhode Island,
Yes,
the
thank you.
smallest state. And we look forward to seeing you again in a couple of weeks for our next session of Faces and Places across the United States. We encourage you to continue to engage with our community virtually like you have done today. Bye, everybody.